I'm Graham Say. I'm a pediatric intensivist and serve as the Chief Medical Officer at Memorial Care Millard Children's and Women's Hospital in Long Beach. Drownings can actually occur at any time of the year, though during the summer, especially with kicking off around the 4th of July holiday, with the warm summer months, kids are out of school, we always see more drownings during the summer. Drownings are preventable. For children, toddlers, even adolescents, supervision is incredibly important, and it's being dedicated and vigilant. It's being there, watching, but also being within arm's reach, because all it takes is a second or a moment in time for a child to drown. Pools are a place that children drown, but it is important to realize that children and others can drown in a very small amount of water. In fact, young children and toddlers often and most likely are to drown in a small amount of water, such as a bucket, and they fall in, and there may only be 1 or 2 inches of water. That's enough for a child to drown. If a child drowns and has reached a point where they may not be breathing or their heart may have even stopped, CPR is vitally important, both for drowning but other conditions as well. And doing it properly and with a correct technique can make all the difference between a good outcome and a very poor outcome. And so getting CPR training for parents that have children is incredibly important. As a tertiary care children's hospital, we have the entire team to look after children that have potentially drowned or have drowned. And the spectrum is all the way from needing our emergency room services. Many children have a submersion event or a drowning, but do well without a whole lot of consequences, all the way up to, unfortunately, children that drown and do not survive. Here we have an intensive care unit with specially trained physicians that deal with the sick children that are able to be put on ventilators, have support for their brain and neurologic systems, as well as all their other organ systems, such as the lungs and the heart, which sometimes need support after a drowning. I think the most important thing to realize with drowning is it is preventable. There is not one single solution that can prevent drowning. It is multifactorial prevention, or multiple layers of prevention. One is having physical barriers around, if you have a pool, physical barriers. 2 is the supervision, being literally at arm's length, watching them solely when they're around pools, making sure that you don't have small bodies of water or water in the bottom of a bucket. You need to empty those out. All it takes is literally one moment in time, brief moment in time, or out of sight that a child can drown. As well, ensuring that you have CPR training so that in the event an unfortunate event occurs, that you know how to respond, that you have communications, a telephone by your pool if you have one. It is, again, multi-layered prevention so that we can avoid these incidents from happening, but if they do happen, that medical services can be summoned almost immediately. I want everyone to have a great summer, but children are very active. They, again, get into many different things, and I want to emphasize, all it takes is a minute of time, a moment of time. Drowning often is silent, and you need to be supervising your children and not doing anything else, because all it takes is one distraction. Please watch your children around water.